Boundaries. When to Say Yes, How to Say No, Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. John Townsend. This book is for people who are tired but don't know why. For people who give, help, listen, show up, adjust, forgive, and stay, even when something inside them keeps whispering, "This is too much." Boundaries speaks to those who learned early that being loved meant being useful, accommodating, easy, or strong for everyone else. At its heart, this book says something many people have never been told. You are allowed to have limits, not because you are selfish, but because you are human. The authors explain that most people with weak boundaries don't lack kindness. They lack permission. Permission to say no without guilt. Permission to disappoint others without feeling like a bad person. Permission to choose themselves without needing to justify it. When boundaries are missing, people slowly disappear from their own lives. They say yes while feeling resentment. They give while feeling empty. They stay quiet while something inside them hardens. The book explains that this happens because boundaries were never modeled or respected. Many people grew up believing that love meant sacrifice without limits, that saying no was rejection, and that prioritizing oneself was dangerous. So they learned to absorb what was never theirs to carry. Other people's moods, expectations, disappointments, and needs. Cloud and Townsend make something painfully clear. You are responsible for yourself, not for managing how others feel about your choices. This is where the discomfort begins. People with weak boundaries often feel responsible for keeping the peace, even at the cost of their own well-being. They confuse love with endurance. They believe that if someone is upset, they must have done something wrong. The book gently but firmly challenges this belief. It says, adults are responsible for their own reactions. When you rescue others from the discomfort of hearing no, you train them to depend on access you never freely chose to give. Saying yes when you mean no is not kindness. It is self-betrayal. And self-betrayal accumulates. Over time, it turns into exhaustion, quiet anger, emotional numbness, or sudden outbursts that surprise even the person experiencing them. The book also prepares readers for something many are not ready to hear. When you begin setting boundaries, people may not like it. Some will accuse you of changing. Some will pressure you to go back to who you were. Some will use guilt as a tool. This reaction is not proof that you are doing something wrong. It is proof that the relationship was built on your lack of limits. Boundaries do not destroy healthy relationships. They expose unhealthy ones. Another deep truth the book reveals is that boundaries are not walls. They are clarity. They tell others where you stand so you don't have to disappear to keep the connection alive. Love does not require limitless access. It requires respect. Cloud and Townsend also explain that boundaries are an act of faith in yourself. They require you to trust that you are allowed to take up space, to rest, to choose differently, and to survive disappointment. For people who struggle with boundaries, saying no feels like danger. The book reframes it as growth. Growth often feels like guilt before it feels like peace. Ultimately, boundaries teaches that you cannot build a healthy life while constantly abandoning yourself. You cannot keep giving from a place of depletion and call it love. Learning to say no is not about becoming cold, it is about becoming whole.